Yeah, 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 yeah. Look, 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 look.
What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick, and in this video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on G-Eazy. Now, when it comes to G-Eazy as a rapper, he's okay. He's a guy that definitely can rap. He's not completely terrible. He's not trash. But at the same time, I've never really been crazy about G-Eazy. I've never really been into him like that. I've actually heard a decent amount of his music, to be honest. I have. I reviewed one of his albums. I think it was When It's Dark Out. I reviewed that album with Druid, and I also heard his other album, These Things Happen. So I've heard two of his albums. I've heard a decent amount of his music, and G-Eazy can rap. He's not completely terrible, but I just find him to be very mediocre, average, and just bland overall. He just kind of reminds me of like Drake and Big Sean, and I just don't find him to be an interesting rapper and an interesting artist, and I've just never really been a fan of him. He has some alright songs. I don't mind Me, Myself, and I. I think the song he did, You Don't Own Me, is pretty good. He has some okay songs like those, but for the most part, I've never really been a big fan of G-Eazy. His music's just never really appealed to me. I just don't care for, most of his production, most of his song topics, most of his music overall. And the two albums I heard, I didn't really care for those albums. These Things Happen and When It's Dark Out. Didn't really care for those albums. Don't really care for his music overall. Just not really a fan of G-Eazy. Could never really get into his music. It doesn't really click with me. One of my problems with G-Eazy is he's a very braggadocious rapper. He's kind of like Drake and stuff. He just talks about braggadocious stuff, women, cars, money, clothes, swag, that kind of stuff. He's just mostly like a braggadocious rapper, and I just don't really care for that subject matter from him. And I just think musically he's not really that interesting, and he doesn't really appeal to me. I've never really been crazy about MGK, and plus he's a Bay rapper as well, and I don't really care for the Bay rapper sound. I'm not really a big fan of Bay hip-hop. The only one I really like is Locksmith, because I feel like he kind of distanced himself from that sound. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on G-Eazy. Not a terrible rapper, but he's pretty mediocre and bland in my opinion. Don't really care for most of his subject matter, which is the braggadocious stuff. And I can never really get into his music. It just never really appealed to me much, and I didn't care for those two albums I heard by him. He just comes off as very bland to me. He doesn't really stand out. He just seems generic, and yeah, he just doesn't have a distinct style, and I don't care for his music, and I just never clicked with his music at all. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on G-Eazy. Let me know what you think of him as an artist. Peace.